Have you ever wondered how a single family could accumulate so much wealth that they literally changed the course of a nation? Today, we're not just telling a story of riches. We're exploring the deep, intricate history of the Rockefeller family, a name synonymous with power, strategy, and an empire that reshaped America. This isn't just about money, it's about a vision that saw the future before anyone else did. To understand the Rockefeller dynasty, we must first travel back to the mid-19th century. America was a nation in transition, healing from civil war, and on the brink of an industrial explosion. In this chaotic, energetic landscape, opportunities were everywhere, but only a few had the foresight to grasp them. One of these individuals was John D. Rockefeller. He was born not into wealth, but into a modest, devoutly religious family. His father was a traveling salesman, often absent, which left a young John with a profound sense of responsibility and a deep-seated need for stability and order. This desire for order would become the cornerstone of his entire philosophy. While others saw chaos in the burgeoning oil industry, Rockefeller saw a system waiting to be built. In the 1860s, oil was the new gold rush. People flocked to Pennsylvania, drilling wells with wild abandon. The industry was messy, unpredictable, and incredibly wasteful. Most people focused on the first step, getting oil out of the ground. But John D. Rockefeller looked at the entire process and saw something different. He realized the real power wasn't in drilling, it was in refining. Why refining? Think of it like this. Anyone could dig a hole and hope to strike oil, which is a high-risk gamble. But every single barrel of crude oil, no matter who found it, had to be refined into a usable product like kerosene for lamps. Refining was the bottleneck, the essential middle step that everyone depended on. By controlling the refining process, Rockefeller wasn't just participating in the industry. He was positioning himself to control the industry itself. This insight is what separated him from thousands of other hopeful entrepreneurs. He wasn't gambling. He was building a system. In 1870, he founded the Standard Oil Company. This wasn't just another business. It was the vehicle for his grand vision of order and efficiency. Rockefeller despised waste. He saw small competing refineries, cutting corners, driving down prices, and creating instability. His solution was consolidation. He began methodically buying out his competitors. He didn't always use aggressive tactics. Often, he would approach a competitor and show them his books. He would demonstrate how Standard Oil's efficiency and scale allowed it to operate at a profit where smaller companies struggled. He would offer them a choice, compete with him and likely go bankrupt, or sell their company to him for cash or Standard Oil stock and become part of something much larger and more profitable. Many chose to join him. Why? Because Rockefeller was offering them security in a deeply insecure industry. He was replacing chaos with a predictable, stable system. By consolidating refineries, he could standardize quality, lower costs, and ensure a steady supply. What most people don't realize is that this obsession with efficiency permeated every aspect of his business. Standard Oil built its own pipelines to transport oil more cheaply than railroads. They manufactured their own barrels, cutting costs by fractions of a cent. They even used the waste products from the refining process to create new products like lubricants and paraffin wax. Every single drop of oil was monetized. This relentless drive for efficiency allowed Standard Oil to sell kerosene at a lower price than anyone else. For the average American family, this was a revolution. Suddenly, affordable, reliable light was available, extending the day for work, study, and leisure. Rockefeller wasn't just selling oil. He was selling light. He was fundamentally changing how people lived their daily lives. But this consolidation came at a price. As Standard Oil grew, it morphed into something the world had never seen before. A trust. What exactly is a trust? Imagine a single, giant entity that controls an entire industry. Standard Oil effectively became the only game in town for oil refining. This gave it immense power. It could negotiate massive discounts from railroads, making it impossible for smaller competitors to ship their oil affordably. It could set prices for both the crude oil it bought and the refined kerosene it sold. This level of control was unprecedented. While it brought stability and lower prices for consumers, it also crushed competition. Small business owners who embodied the American dream of individual enterprise found themselves unable to survive against this corporate giant. The public perception of Rockefeller began to shift. Was he a brilliant captain of industry, bringing order and progress to a chaotic world? Or was he a ruthless monopolist, destroying competition and amassing power for his own gain? The truth, as it often is, lies somewhere in between. His methods were systematic and sometimes brutal from a business perspective, but they were also driven by a genuine belief that he was creating a better, more efficient system for everyone. He saw competition as a form of waste, a social sin that needed to be eliminated for the greater good. This rise of the Standard Oil Trust sparked a national debate that echoes to this day. What is the proper role of government in regulating business? How much power is too much for a single company to hold? The public grew fearful of the power wielded by Rockefeller and other industrialists who were nicknamed robber barons. This fear led to a powerful public backlash and a new era of American politics. The government was forced to act, leading to landmark legislation like the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. This was America's first attempt to legally challenge monopolies and preserve competition. The ultimate confrontation came in 1911, when the Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly and ordered it to be broken up. The empire was dismantled into 34 separate companies. You might recognize some of their names today: Exxon, Mobil, Chevron. It seemed like a defeat for Rockefeller. But here is the final, brilliant twist in this part of the story. John D. Rockefeller retained his shares in each of these newly independent companies. And as these smaller, more agile companies began competing with each other and innovating, their collective value soared. The breakup of Standard Oil, which was meant to diminish his power, ended up making John D. Rockefeller the wealthiest man in modern history. His personal fortune exploded. It's a profound irony. The government's attempt to dismantle his empire inadvertently multiplied his wealth beyond anyone's imagination. He had built a system so robust, so fundamentally sound, that even breaking it apart only made its individual pieces more valuable. The story doesn't end there, of course. The immense wealth accumulated by John D. Rockefeller was then transformed in the second half of his life. He pivoted from being the world's greatest industrialist to becoming the world's greatest philanthropist. Guided by his son, John D. Rockefeller Jr., the family began to systematically give their fortune away. They applied the same principles of efficiency and large-scale impact that built Standard Oil to the world of charity. They didn't just write checks, they founded institutions that would tackle the root causes of societal problems. The Rockefeller Foundation was created to promote the well-being of mankind throughout the world. They funded medical research that helped eradicate diseases like hookworm and yellow fever. They established the University of Chicago, turning it into a world-class institution. They funded parks, education, and scientific advancement on a scale never before seen. They were pioneering a new form of giving, known as strategic philanthropy, where wealth was used as a tool to create lasting, systemic change. From a single man's obsession with order in a chaotic industry came an empire that defined an era. It fueled America's industrial growth, changed how people lived, sparked a fundamental debate about capitalism and government that continues today, and ultimately created a philanthropic legacy that has impacted billions of lives. The Rockefeller story is more than a tale of wealth. It is a blueprint for how vision, strategy, and an unrelenting drive for efficiency can fundamentally reshape the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of an American dynasty. If you found this exploration of history and power fascinating, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the forces that have shaped our world. We'll see you next time.